and welcome to the Witching Hour. It's Cat here, and if I turn the camera around a little bit, hang on a sec.
Hello.
There she is. Sav's here as well.
I am.
Damn. I've got a wibbly wobbly. Oh hell.
Oh dear.
No, my wibbly wobbly's too stiff.
Terrible.
Right, as you can tell, it's the middle of the day, so this is a pre-record you're seeing. Reason being, I've got a migraine and it's going to get worse. So I thought far better do a pre-record, and that way you're seeing the best of us. What are you laughing at?
I'm not laughing.
The subject this week is one subject, and I'm going to be looking at this because last week we looked at part 1 of the Mark T, and I don't know what went wrong, but something did, and the video somewhere along the line was not saved, and it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Wasn't me. In fact, it
wasn't me.
Wasn't you. It happened in the middle of the night. It was there 1 minute and it was gone the next. So there you go. Nightmare. But it got lost. So I didn't think it was fair to anybody that didn't see it to sort of leave that and go on to part 2. So I'm going to be looking at this. I'm going to be showing you part 1 again. There'll be no forum watch or anything like that this week. But we're going to look at this, and this is the Mark T. Bug, I believe it's called, which Cloud9 Vaping will be selling. Now there's been a few delays, and the delays are due to the screw fittings. Lisa did get some in that she told me about, but it didn't, nothing wrong with the screw fittings, but it didn't fit, you know, some mods, and Lisa wanted it spot on, and I can't blame her. Now the one she sent me, I have to admit, fits everything I've got, so I'm not having a problem, which is lovely. And she sent it to me because if this numpty here could put it together without too big a problem and found the pre-wound coils easy enough to work with, then anybody could. And I do have a few side problems, and at the moment I've got an eye infection as well. So I mean, you know, wonderful, eh? I'm falling apart. I'm falling apart here. And Jimmy, you saying out?
I'm saying not a word.
She's saying not a word. That makes a change, doesn't it? So I'm going to concentrate on this beautiful thing here, which I have to say I like. I do like. I think it's gorgeous. I think it looks stunning. That's it on an Ego. The first thing I tried it with was the Darwin. Battery's flat. Isn't that the story in Melee?
Bat flattery.
I've got a bat flattery. But there you go. Again, could only happen to me. I'll try it, was the battery flat, or was it just not making a connection? It wasn't making a connection. The draw on this thing, as you'll hear me repeatedly say, because I'm going to put some videos in here, is fantastic. And I mean fantastic. And I mean fantastic in a way that may not be fantastic for you, but it's for me. So who's laughing at me?
Talking gibberish now.
I'm not talking gibberish. I'll tell you what it is. When you see me gooseneck?
Yes, you all took the mickey out of me.
I got a gooseneck. I must admit, it's not often Sav has a good idea.
Ooh. Get you.
But I like this one. Are you hearing that? Are you hearing all that? You've got that, but it's all that. Now, that annoys me. I cannot be done with the gurgling, the whizzing, the crackling, whatever it likes. And there's none of that with this. None. It's a beautiful piece of kit. Anyway, I'm babbling now. I am babbling now. I'm going to go over to part 1 and then we'll have a look at part 2. Okay? So on that note, catch you in a bit. Nice parcel arrived this morning, and it's the Mark T from Lisa at Cloud9 Vaping. Quite impressed with the instructions, I must admit. Looks clear enough even for an idiot like me. Yeah. It's the box. Like a pair of earrings, beautiful. Tank. So let's see how I get on. Here's the box they arrived in. Very smart. Almost like having jewellery, isn't it? And inside that box, underneath the wrapping, are 3 packages, each with a different millimetre thread. Thread's the wrong word. You know what I'm talking about. Pre-wound coil. The 0.15 millimetre. There is 0.13 millimetre and 0.12 millimetre, all of which will give you a different ohmage, if that's the right word. So I'm going to attempt to put this together and see if I can use it. But before I do, I'm just going to read out to you a little note from Lisa regarding the final production of this. She thinks there will be some changes in that the threads, which you may see here, which are in brass, will probably be made of stainless steel, but there's no definite confirmation on that at the moment. And she isn't sure exactly which mods that everything will fit on, as it has been tried to accommodate as many mods as possible. So we'll see, because I'm just going to try it on the Darwin, which I believe is a no-no. So maybe in May, I'm going to try it anyway. So let me see. I'm wanting to use this as a tank. So the tank, as it says on the instructions here, which are absolutely idiot proof, I think. All the parts are labelled there, and instructions as to what goes with what, which is very clever. So I'm going to be referring to that and see if I can do it, anybody can do it. Right, for a Mark T tank mode on a mod, it's a tank I'm going for, I need ACD and the Ego cartridge. those are the three. And the ego cartridge. Okay, let's see if even I can work it out. Now, it says to put a little drop of juice on here before you start. And I'm using the spiky thing because it's very precise. I shall put on the tank cartridge connector. I'm going to put a tiny drop on that, and I mean a tiny drop. And there we are. That part screws on there. Not doing bad so far. This is brand new, so there's no hole in it. So I shall pierce that, which I'm not going to do with the spiky bit, because I don't think putting that kind of pressure on is necessary. So there we go, holes in. I will now put some juice in. Leaving a space at the top. Yeah. Now, da-da-da-da. Let's see if it works. I can hear it sizzling. No problem at all. I did it! Now we're going to try it using the dripping method. And we'll try parts A, B and F. Now how hard can this be? Excuse all my injuries, it's kittens for you. Done. That's working. Nope, not getting much in the way of vapor there. That's better. Now here I've put it on an Ego type battery, along with the very nice bit that slides over the connector, making that look really smart, doesn't it? Lovely. That's nice. Not being a lover of dripping anymore, I don't think I would use it a great deal for dripping, but I like that. Now let's try it with the other assembly. Still looking quite cool. That's definitely for me, that like. I do like that. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. It was basically showing what Lisa asked. Could I put it together? Could I use it? What are you reading in there?
Do you really need to ask?
Tell us.
Menthol
Aye.
with some EM and some caramel.
Ethyl maltol. And some caramel.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know, it just has a strange smell.
It's probably because it's a new.
But then that could be me.
I'm sad. I didn't want to say that.
You know what? Goosenecks. Here's his little mane.
She had to show off.
I had to buy the big one.
Gotta go one step bigger.
One step bigger. One step beyond.
I don't use stuff.
See? What size is yours? 3 inch? Mate. No, it's bigger than 3 inches, isn't it?
I never measured it.
And mine's 5 3/4. Do they stretch?
No.
No.
They just bend.
They're funny.
They're brilliant.
I must admit, I know, I heard Lisa say on the Vape Fest video that I'd bought one.
Yes.
And then there it is. I thought, do you know, she's right. One of the problems that you're always aware of with the Darwin is you don't want juice to get in there. Not that it's had loads. Doesn't do it any harm. And her ladyship here came up with this idea.
And who laughed at me?
I did.
Who ridiculed me?
I did. I admit it. I admit it.
And who was right?
You're spot on. I have to admit, you're spot on. I nearly poked my eye out.
That's why I'm glad I wear glasses.
That's why I've got an eye infection.
I've done that so many times.
And it does get a bit annoying when it can't like that.
I don't have that problem, but I have mine facing oversized.
Ah, no, who'd have thought of that, like? Who'd have thought of it?
You're not very bright, eh?
I was wondering why mine was wobbling about.
The starboard facing that way.
It's a good idea.
Rather than that way.
It's a good idea. I don't mean to go away from the Mark T. I just thought you might be interested in the gooseneck thing. Because I'm coming back to the Mark T, don't worry.
I've seen a lot of people talking about goosenecks recently on the forums and things.
Aye.
So,
you're absolutely right. I just wanted to show them something else that I've invested in again. I hope they can't see the mess of my desk. I'm sure they can.
you get these?
Aye.
Nipples.
Nipples. I showed you them, was it last week?
Yes.
I ordered some more because mine finally died. But it was a good solid... That's her phone.
Excuse me.
It was a good solid week of vaping, which isn't bad. So I ordered a couple more of these from eCig Wizard. $2.99 are they?
$2.99, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely fab, I must admit. I've tried the metal ones. I'm not over keen. I like to be able to see.
I like to know what's going on. I like to see.
Do you find that?
Yeah.
You're the same. You like to see.
It makes it easier for filling. You can see where the dry spots are and you can fill them up.
With a spiky thing.
Or a syringe.
Or a syringe. That spiky thing comes in handy.
Spiky is brilliant.
We've been buying them. So that's on the agenda. And I also, and I'm not going to show you it this week. I'm not going to show you it. But I'll show you the lid. Can you see what that says?
It'll be backwards, won't it?
Who's backwards? How dare you? Backwards?
It didn't call you backwards.
Could be, because everything I film's back to bloody front. Oh, I'm not allowed to swear in that. That's not swearing.
Bloody's not swearing.
Bloody's not swearing, no. Sun pipes. I have one. Next week. Sun pipes.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Sun pipes. Because I can't find a battery that fits. But I'll
I
get
wasn't going to drop you in it with that. I was being mysterious.
Mysterious.
Aye.
I didn't know it was a mystery.
You're a great mystery.
Isn't it?
I've been for years.
Right, I'm sorry, folk, because we're now boring you stiff, talking about mysteries and goosenecks and partridges in a pear tree. So, we're talking about the Mark T, and this was what I was, before I picked up the gooseneck. I wanted to get Sav's opinion on rebuildable eyes. Would you ever? There's a song like that, isn't there?
No, don't sing.
I won't sing. I can't get the song over here.
Would I ever what?
Would you ever buy one?
Nah.
Why?
Because I have hands like feet. I'm not very dexterous.
So you wouldn't buy one because you would find it fiddly?
Partly. The other reason I wouldn't buy one is I can buy an atty or a atomiser that lasts best part of 2 weeks.
For you, yeah.
For
And a week for
$2.99.
me, which is pretty good.
$2.99.
I don't know how much they are, but I mean...
Well, if you compare them to the others, like the Buddy and the Ayati, they're more than $2.99.
About the £80 mark, aren't they?
Yes, so... Nah.
Mm.
And I couldn't be bothered to sit and fiddle on and... Nah. Not for me.
So for a lot of people that's going to be the case. I must admit, I quite enjoy fiddling on. But would I be quite so tolerant of it if that was the only device I had?
Exactly, because when you're fiddling on, you need another device to use whilst you're fiddling on with that one.
True.
So, yeah, you still spend your $2.99 on the Arctic. False economy, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
for me...
So
no.
it's an enthusiast tool.
Yes. And as you know, I'm the ultimate lazy vapor.
I'm not far behind.
Hence the gooseneck and the USB.
Yeah. Well, you're right about that. And I mean, I don't know whether I told you, but Ron, and that's hubby, he uses USB Ego with those XL Mega Cardos.
Yeah.
They're not Mega, they're XL Cardos, aren't they?
Oh.
Well, they're big. But they're black. They're not like them ones.
No.
The smock ones, they're not like the smock ones.
That.
He uses them on an Ego and dual coil ones, so they do tend to, you know, pull a bit of energy out of that battery.
Yeah, the Ego battery's not powerful enough.
Yeah, and he uses it on USB quite a bit at work, etc. So I was looking for something for him so that he could use those same dual coil megas, but have a little bit more oomph and still USB. And you know, I couldn't find anything other than the Darwin. I couldn't find anything.
No, there's not a lot of USB charging devices that I know of. I wish there was.
There may be the odd box mod that would cope with it. But as he's Mr. You know, get out of the car, everything drops on the floor type, I can. Then, you know, how long would it be sustainable?
Yeah.
So I was looking for something fairly
robust.
Yeah, very silver bullet, but without the 18650.
Well, there's the black The little silver bullets with the...
don't seem to see that.
And
the thing, and the what's it?
Aye.
And the how'd your father?
Aye.
I
never get any of that with my
Well, we're talking about the BB and the
BB
pass
and
through.
BB pass through and things, aye. There's that.
Is that still around? I think it is, isn't it? I'll have to have a look
check
at
on iVapor Elixir.
iVapor Elixir. Because he brought it, there was the Alpha, came from, who makes them again? Altsmoke. There was the Alpha, and there was a few others. Was it the Alpha?
No.
No, that's the bad
the
one.
Amiga.
Amiga!
You're getting the Greek confused.
Oh, I always do. I get everything confused.
The Greek. Aye.
Aye, Alpha, Amiga. Alpha's the beginning, Amiga's the end.
Then there's a lot in the middle.
And there's a whole lot in the middle, which I didn't have.
No.
So,
Beta and Gamma.
what's Gamma?
Beta
That's in there
gamma.
somewhere.
Yeah, that's it. 4 letters of the alphabet, I know.
Oh. These things are canny as well, you know. I mean, I keep talking about these, but what I don't understand is how mine turns black in about a day and hers doesn't.
Because you put witch's poison juice in yours and I put normal juice in mine.
What can you see?
Well, it's got to be the juice, hasn't it?
I don't know.
It has to be. It's the only difference. We're running them on the same devices.
Aye.
With the same goosenecks.
Aye.
They're the same DCCs.
Aye.
So the only variable is the juice.
Aye.
And me and you.
Well, that's a big enough variable for a start.
So it's either the juice that's making it go black, or it's you.
Aye, could be. Anyway, I'm going back to my Mark T, but I would do if I hadn't lost it. There it is.
Oh, that one. There's another one over there.
No, there isn't.
There is.
No, it's the other bit of it.
Yeah, well, I don't know what bit's what.
It's the other bit. You know, it's just terrible. Well, what I've done, I actually about 10 minutes ago, before we started talking, I filmed a very uncoordinated bit of film of me. Of me in real time putting a new Wick on. So I'm going to show you that, and then we'll move on to part 2 of the video, which I filmed just after I've got this, where I do a little bit more looking at it, and I even pulled the mesh out.
Well, that's nice.
Isn't it? And the amazing part was I got it back in again.
Always good.
Always good. So, come back to you after that.
Ta-ta now.
Ta-ta for now. Now I'm going to try changing the wick in real time. In this one, I've got the wick in the high position, which is required for the tank. At least I feel that's the way it should work, so that the mesh from the spike touches the wick. So I'm going to change it because that is 0.12 millimeter wick that I've got in there, which I feel is just a little bit too much. So I'm going to try for something a little bit bigger. So as I've run out of 0.15, I'm going to use 0.13. So we start by cutting a little bit off. Now bear in mind I'm no expert at this, so this is only my way of doing it. So I wouldn't cut a huge bit. I'm looking at it there next to the one I've got. So I'm talking about that. There we are. Put this back so as not to lose any. Because I'm sure I had a bit of 0.15 left, but I obviously left it lying round. So, what do? Well, let's first of all remove the one that's in. And I apologise for being clumsy, but there's the camera between me and it. There we go. That's the old one there, which isn't in too bad a nick. So I'm just making sure there's no wire left on there. Not that I can see. Right, now the way I do this with the new Wick, I hope you can see it there, only just. I pin it down. I pin it down with a small screwdriver, then pull out at one end, turn it around, pin it down again, and pull out at the other end. And there we have the Wick. Now, obviously my eyes are not wonderful, but I'm going to see if I can count how many turns we've got there. 6 is what I make it. I know 5 is the recommendation, but by the time I get the wire in the right place, it could easily be 5. Now, I put the wire through the middle of the screws. At least that's what I'm attempting to do. There we are. Initially, just sort out the wires and wrap slightly round. Now at this point, as I see the wires have managed to get tangled there, now I should get the wrong wires in the wrong place. Start again. I do apologise. It's quite difficult. I normally do this under the microscope. It's 1 in place. 2 in place. There we go. Now, I feel it's a good idea to hold that down with your thumbnail. Tighten down. Because the wire does move, obviously, when you are tightening. Now that's nicely in place. This one could do with tightening down a little bit more. There we go. Any spare wire that's hanging off, get rid of. Yes, I'm using hairdressing scissors, we know. And there we are. Done in real time. It's currently set with that little bit of wick sitting flat to the base. If I'm going to be using the tank, then I would raise that up a bit by gently going underneath and raising. Like so. Okay, let's put this together. I'll put it together actually in tank mode. Spike with mesh. Some juice in there. And there we are. Done. I'll put on the nice little cap that comes for the ego. There. Right, let's give it a go. I have to say, and I've repeatedly said this, but I mean, you've now seen this done in real time. The only break in filming has been for me to turn the camera around to give this a go. It's a very, very smooth draw. Now, some people don't like it. They think it's a little bit tight. For me, no, I think it's absolutely fabulous. And there's none of that crackly sound that you get with cartonisers, you know. There's no sound at all, which is absolutely lovely. So there you go, there's the tank part. Now we'll try it. It's still wet enough, but I'll put a few drips on there. And I have to say, I've got an eye infection, so I'm doing this with one eye shut. So I can do it with one eye shut. There you go. So that's it. Yes, I filmed this, but it's been filmed in real time. Okay, catch you in a bit. information to add. If you're going to use the Mark T in the tank format, be sure that this is sitting high so that it makes contact with the little feed that passes through. Otherwise it'll dry out fairly quickly. This one's fine at the moment, but I didn't let you know that in the other piece of video. Here you can see the piece of mesh that filters through the tank cartridge connector. There would appear to be something running through the centre of it, which I would have thought would be a piece of wick. But maybe not. It's important to ensure that that piece of wick touches the coil. If it doesn't, you will end up with the burnt taste that frequently happens with the tanks on the tank atomizers. Something we're all used to, that sort of burnt taste. Keeping those together will ensure that doesn't happen with the Mark T. Now I've gone that extra bit to have a look and see what actually is inside the mesh, and as you can see, there isn't anything in there. There isn't a wick, unlike some of the other rebuildable ones. So as it's working, I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. It seems to be working fine as it is. So I will now to recurl it, which is a better word, and get it back in. Wasn't all that difficult, just took me a few seconds. Difficult to catch on camera though, because it keeps going out of focus. But there you go, it's back. And working once again.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey up, are you alright?
Hi.
We'll be right there. Put a silly hat on.
That's a reasonable. And good evening, one and all. Here we are with tonight's VT Talk.
I've quite a few questions coming in already.
Yes, going live in 3, 2, 1. Pardon me, please.
Right, well that's our show for tonight. I'm sorry it had to be pre-recorded. I am around, but we thought it was better, and it actually took 10 times longer.
Mm-hmm. Much longer.
Much longer.
Wasn't a very good plan.
Wasn't a very good plan. But then, what is it we do?
Mm-hmm. Well, you try it, you figure out it doesn't work, and then you do it again next week.
So it wasn't the best of ideas to save Wick, but there you go. Anyway, I'm going to round up the bully. That was a slip of the tongue, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? Mark T.
The Mark T. And I'll tell you why I said bully. Because although we hope Mr. Dawn might have been able to pop up, but he hasn't been able to, still got too much going on. From the original show, I'm going to quote you what he said, because he actually brought his bully up to compare. And I believe it was the 901 fitting A2. I believe it was. What he was saying and what was distinctly noticeable, and I'm sitting here with that instead of showing you that one, was the look. You know, the Mark T is
very elegant.
Oh, it's stunning in comparison. The bully's more industrial.
Yeah.
And that was Mr. Dawn's observation. He felt, just as you did when you tried it, that the draw was a little bit tight.
Mm.
And that the hole, and there is a tiny little hole which I believe the bully has as well. There's no point putting it up the camera, you'll not be able to see that. Could do with being a tiny bit bigger. Now, both Sav and Dave thought it was a bit tight. For me, it was spot on. We'll see how it works here. That could do with a bit more juice. Well, it's could do with a bit of a fill as well. So for them, well, for Dave anyway, it was a plus. You know, he did like this thing, but he just wanted a little bit of a looser draw. For me, I quite like it the way it is, so it's a thumbs up on that. Anyway, it's time to wrap the show up. I just want to thank Lisa for sending that to me and giving me the opportunity of doing this and making me realise I'm not as big a numpty as I thought.
Even though you keep trying to prove that you are. Today's been the perfect example.
Been a perfect numpty. I've left the offcuts in, as you may have noticed, because she was killing herself laughing. And I thought, my expense.
It was funny.
Yet again.
I'm sorry.
It's always at my expense, isn't it?
Oh no, you can blame camera technicalities.
I need to turn that up.
What? That's not. Yeah. What's the? That's down.
That's down, that's
They don't matter that high.
Oh.
Blow your heater. What? What's it sitting at? What resistance have you made? 1.6.
1.8.
1.8. Now that's now at 4.1 volts. So that should be candy.
Shouldn't be too bad, should it?
No.
We'll see. It's alright, I'm not getting as much as I normally get out of it. So I'd have to have a look at that as to why I'm not getting them. Don't worry about it. May worry. I'll sort it out later. But in general, I'm liking it. Yes. And it's given me a whole new...
That's a plus point. It closes on the Darwin.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Buddy doesn't.
Closes nicely on the Darwin. So I'm now going to wish you all a very fond good night. Even though I'm recording it. And it's just about tea time. It's 5:30. And that means Sav can get home as well. And because she can't get parked She can't get popped if she doesn't go home now, because the men from the Chinese block it.
Yeah.
So it's a big good night from me, and it's...
And it's a big good night. I feel like 2 Ronnies. Good night for me.
Ta-ra, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.